Good morning, class. Ms. Goff here. I have to step out for the first half of the class period, but I still want class to go as smoothly as usual. So I'm trying to make things easier. I'm going to give you the directions over this video, and please help the sub out and make sure you're on your best behavior while they are covering our. Today we're going to be starting a new unit, the legislative branch. And there's a lot of tricky vocabulary that's easy to confuse. So I wanted to approach vocabulary a little differently this unit. And we are going to get a bit competitive. In order to complete this assignment, we're going to need to break off into pairs. As usual, I'd like you to use our famous pairs cards to find the person that you're working with. No switching cards, you know the rules. I am watching. Hopefully at this point the substitute is handing out one card per person. Make sure they're face down until it's time to find your match. So one card per person. As soon as all students have their cards, please go ahead and you can stand up, push your chairs in, of course, and carefully walk to find your partner. You want to take all of your books with you because you'll be sitting there for a good amount of the class period. We'll say for about 25 minutes or so. So please stand up, take all of your belongings, and find your match. And then you can find a pair of desks next to each other and sit down with your partner. There should be no need to move any of the furniture because there are two desks next to each other throughout the room. I'll give you a few minutes to find your partner, so go ahead and pause this video. Alright, hopefully that went smoothly and we're all sitting next to a partner that we can work cooperatively with. At this point I'd like to ask the substitute to go ahead and give each person one slip of blue paper. You're each going to get the definition for just one of the vocabulary words for this unit. So let's hand out one blue slip of paper to each partner, each group. Go ahead and do that. You can pause this video. Alright, now that each pair has discovered what their word is, here's where your task is involved. It's your job to actually teach your classmates about the meaning of each of these vocabulary words, and you can focus on the word that you've just been given. So as a pair, you have to be creative. You're actually going to be coloring, having to come up with pictures, creative sentences. So decide amongst yourselves who has neat handwriting, who is very good at coloring, who would be more artistic, but you need to divide up the work fairly equally. If you are not really good at art and you don't want to draw the picture, at least be willing to help by coloring it in. Because at the end of this, we are going to actually make this a competition and choose the most creative and the best presented words. So here's what you're going to do. When the substitute hands out one of these sheets of paper to each pair, you're going to take the vocabulary word and put it under word to know. So that goes right in the middle there. You can make them in bold letters, bubble letters, whatever you'd like. Make it colorful and presentable for your classmates. Then you're going to take the definition that I've given you. These are the definitions that will be on the test that I'd like you to be familiar with. And you're going to put that under what it is. So this is the definition here. Then I'd like you to get creative for the other three parts of this worksheet. As a pair, you have to come up with a picture, what your word might look like. So a nice creative picture here. Please make it colorful and creative. Again, we'll be choosing the best presentation here. What it is not. You can get really creative, really silly with this one. Some of the words might be misleading. When you hear the word or when you look at the word, it might mean something completely different. So you can put what it is not, what people might be confused by. And then you're actually going to take that vocabulary word and use it in a sentence. Please make sure that your grammar with this is correct, that you're using the word in the correct tense so that it makes sense and flows in a sentence. Here's an example of one that I had made last year to show my students before they did this assignment. So the word to know would be social studies, and what it is, if you look in the top left corner here, it's the study of social relationships and the functioning of society. So it's a fancy definition, but using a good picture and a sentence, I actually try to make it easier for my classmates to understand the meaning of social relationships and the functioning of society. So for what it might look like, I decided to draw a picture of a globe with people holding hands. So how society works based on relationships and the way people interact. What it is not, so don't be confused. Social studies is not prepare for a test by throwing a party. So socially studying would not be social studies. And then in a sentence, I use the word in a sentence by saying, in my social studies class, we learned about past cultures and how they interact. So my sentence is meant to simplify that fancy definition for my classmates. So again, you can get creative, use colors. I have markers available on the front desk. There are colored pencils as well. Make it presentable. I would really like to hang some of these in the hallway when you're finished. I have put 20 minutes on the Smartboard timer for you to work with your partner to fill out this worksheet. Depending on behavior and how hard you're working, if you really need more time because you're being creative, the substitute can go ahead and push that to 25. But that's up to their own judgment. Please keep an eye on the timer so you know how much time you have left. Use your time wisely. This will be considered a class grade, so I'd like you to do your best work. But why don't we go ahead and after the 20 minutes is up, you can come back for the second set of directions, but for now, go ahead and pause this video and begin working. Now that you have created masterpieces, I would like to create a gallery walk to look at the magnificent artwork that you have created. So one person from each pair can go ahead and grab a piece of tape from the front table. All the supplies are right when you enter the door now. So grab a piece of tape and I'd like you to put it on any of the we'll say 4 walls as long as you're away from my desk and also the Smartboard. But go ahead and tape your masterpieces around the classroom because we are going to walk around to collect the definitions for this unit. So I'll give you a few minutes for that. Why don't you go ahead and pause this video. Excellent, excellent. It looks like an art gallery in here. So can I please ask the substitute to hand out one of the vocabulary sheets to each student? So every student is going to get a copy of this one. And now for the next, I'll give you 10 minutes for this. I would like you to walk around and collect the definitions for each of the vocabulary words on your list. So before this, each pair had been responsible for just one word, but now it's your job to actually go around and collect the definitions from each of the other pieces of work that your classmates have produced. Please pay attention to the pictures that have been used and the sentences and the creativity that's used because we're going to go back at the end of the class period and choose our favorites. The top 5 will receive candy. So be looking, admire their work and their creativity, but also make sure that you are getting your definitions down for this unit. So 10 minutes on the clock. Go ahead and begin. You can pause this video.